So I met Jay in 2011 or 2012, and I didn't know him that well until a lot later, but in thinking about it, I realized that he's been an influence to me in a lot of indirect ways, and a lot of the things that he did and talked about that he was actually doing that other people just talked about. He was a thinker and a doer and a learner and a teacher all at once, and so that's how I remember him. And he would sometimes refer to the most esoteric things while doing the most mundane things. We might put up a fence while talking about the books of the Apocrypha and why they didn't end up in the canon, or about the anthroposophical stuff and all kinds of things. Yeah, that's how I remember him.
Well, I met Jay really early on when I moved into the Ozarks. And so I knew him about 10 years, and he really touched my heart in a lot of the same ways that people are talking about. I met him through the Ozarks Neighborly Exchange, which he was so passionate and so devoted to, and I just realized then that he's an incredibly passionate and devoted human being that really does do what he talks about doing, which is really beautiful. And I miss you, Jay, and also I know you're still here, and I love you so much.
I'm going to miss Jay. I might only see him, knowing him for don't know how long time. Might only see him a time or two a year. Every time we'd see him, he'd have a smile. We'd might talk about the stuff that everybody talked about Jay with, and it was wonderful. Gonna miss him.
I really respected and loved Jay. He was a special, very special person. He helped us sometimes at the farm when we were just overwhelmed, and he would come and help us just pull the hay in or do this or that or anything, but always kind and gentle. I appreciate that so much.
I guess I met Jay about 20 years ago, met Linda at the same time, and conversations since then were similar. Both talk about blackberries and stuff. But yeah, I liked his authentically himself. Something I think it's good to have people like that.
I'll try not to set you on fire.
That's all right.
Well, I met Jay, I think about 3 or 4 years ago via Amber and Jamie up at Ken's place in Gentle Karma. That was the first time I met Jay. And that was a good meeting. Of course, when you got a group, it's hard to get private settings and everything, but meeting him over here on the front porch a few times, and of course up there at Roy's, eating his omelet smothered in ketchup. And, but we could sit there and talk, and we connected, I think, because he was resonating with me because he wasn't about the labels and stereotypes. I mean, he could go into any conversation. I mean, we could really get deep on just about everything I'm hearing here. And for some reason, we always ended up talking about death and how everybody else seemed to view death as if it was a bad thing. And Jay did not see it that way. He understood, like I believe, you don't never die. You never die. You just exit the vehicle, so to speak.
Oh.
Right? And so we'd have some interesting conversations like that. And you name it, he could go there. And he's got the books, and he's probably read every damn one of them. So that's how I know Jay, and I'm gonna miss him.
Jay, there's a community here of Jay. And the community, the representation, this came to me, of all the communities that are represented here, and the experience of all the people and all the different movements and all the different really, really positive energies that are swirling around in this room are representative of Jay. It's very profound in so many ways. And I don't want to take too long, but while I was out there thinking about what I might say, I want to sing a little bit of a song here, because around the tree planting, and I'll try not to go on, but it's like, I don't know if you may have heard this. Trees, 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 all I ever dream is trees. Oak and pine and hickory and sycamore, let them all grow, let them all grow. And then there's a verse about seeds, and I don't know if I should go on, but no. That's what I'm asking.
Love you, David. Let's go.
I'm his brother, in case you didn't know, so that's fine.
You have permission.
But I didn't. That was beautiful, brother. So I'll due respect. So I've known Jay. I've been here 10 years because of this guy, and then meeting Linda, and etc. And yeah, I just he was a great person. I enjoyed his company. A brilliant guy. And one thing I'll never forget him saying over and over every time he would listen to us play, "You guys got to make a CD."
Yeah.
And it's like, I appreciate that so much, Jay, but it probably will never get there. But, you know, I miss him. This group does really represent a lot. Yeah, we're all here as a testament to him. So. Thank you, Jay, and happy birthday.
I came into the Ozarks about 5 or 6 years ago, and he was one of the first of the ponds that I met. You know, I never met one, I met groups, and he was a legend. He is a legend. You know, the impacts that he's made on everybody, the knowledge. He was so unassuming. You know, I meet this guy and he just seems like this human kind of person, and really had done his work inward and outward. And so it's continues to be touching to see the substantial impact that he's made on everybody's lives, and that's a beautiful thing. And so we honor him and thank him, and
When I think of Jay, I think of him being at Oak. That's what I would see him pretty much every year, if not in between. And he always had great contributions in terms of teaching. You know, everybody's talked here about him being well-read and teaching, and of course the soil things. So I appreciate his contributions there. Just 'cause that's where I think of him as.
Well, we moved to the Ozarks 35 years ago and have been to Oak almost every year, minus a few. And that's, I think, where I met Jay, because we live almost 2 hours away. But we would see him at Oak and occasionally other times. And I always enjoyed his amazing mind. I mean, people have talked about how brilliant he was. He had so many interests and could talk about so many things. And he was always a treat to visit with and talk with. He knew a lot. He was an amazing teacher and student.
I didn't know Jay super well. We're neighbors. My husband mows his yard. And I just remember him coming over a lot of the times when all Mark's aunt and uncle would be down at the Thornton farm. And liberal Jay would come over and just get his dad all riled up. It was great. He knew his stuff. He very much, it would be good debates that would go on, and just sit there and drink and watch that. It was good entertainment.
They used to love to argue.
Yeah.
Especially with my aunts and uncles. He never missed a meal over there.
Yep.
Definitely. I've been coming out here for a few years now, helping you,
Yeah.
and just let me know when I need to come over.
Okay.
I'll come visit
You're
him.
wonderful, thank you.
And Bitsy's doing very well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I met Jay in the Ozark Neighborly Exchange by good luck. And everyone here has said basically the same things that I observed with him. I also grew sorghum with him. A group of us grew sorghum, which was a very challenging job at the best of times. Specifically, at the end of the summer, it's hot. Jay would always show up, so I knew Jay had some issues, but Jay never talked about, any aches and pains. He always had a smile on his face. He was always good for a conversation. My friends often refer to me as a person who runs off the mouth quite a bit. I like to talk, and Jay was a kindred spirit, and gonna miss him. He was an exceptional fellow, no question about that.
I didn't know Jay except from visiting Linda, although every time I did see him, I learned something and knew that I was in the presence of wisdom. I could just feel that with him. But the main thing I want to share today is looking out at you all, the vision or the message that's coming to me, and I think it's coming from Jay, the impact he's had not only on you all and this world, but I just had this vision of his energy, in part carried by you all, out into the universe, out into the world, and the impact each of us have the chance to have on the entire rest of the universe. But I specifically saw it for Jay. I saw his energy moving out through you, but even beyond you, and just showed me that he's everywhere, and that we each have the opportunity to do that in our own lives as we go out and take our own light and share with other people. But he's obviously a powerful example and lesson for all of us about our own spirit, because that's the best I can say it. Thanks. Oh, here. It's me.
Okay.
Or I don't know how we're doing this.
Well, I met Jay when his family moved in next door to our house. I don't know if I should tell you when that was, because you'll know how old I am, but it was 1963 anyway. We were high school juniors, and we had 2 good years together with our bedroom windows facing each other, talking about all the stupid things that junior high and senior high boys talk about. We, at that time, were expected to come home for lunch. We lived about a mile from school, but our mothers and dads were firm on that, and so we had that bonding of going out to the main road and seeing who had a driver's license and would pick us up. But you all know how much Jay loved animals, especially dogs, and one of his dreams was to be a veterinarian. And when graduated from high school. He got admitted to Ohio State University, but they wanted him to take remedial math in summer. And not that that's such a bad thing, but he didn't want to do it, so he joined the Marines. This was 1965. Jay survived Vietnam, and he survived the Marines. And then our paths crossed again. He ended up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I was living. And another one of Jay's dreams, I mean, he kind of brought me into it, was he brought home this book. Does it sound familiar? It was a book about how to build a ferro-cement sailboat. I mean, if you don't think you can build a sailboat out of concrete, I'm here to tell you, you can. But we talked a lot, but fortunately, we never did it. Looking around at all of you, I think the community here was just a much better deal than being out in the middle of the ocean in a sailboat. And this is beautiful. The first time I visited him here was 2007. I came on a motorcycle, and I thought, my goodness, this place is full of snakes, which I'm scared of, and ticks, and I just want to get out of here. But I see the beauty of it, and Jay certainly helped me appreciate that. Thanks.
Right behind you. No.
You want to get the one last guy there first, and then I'll take it from there.
Okay.
Well, I met Jay a long time ago. What I remember most about him, it's a rare man that has a strong intellectual mind and a loving heart. You don't see those two qualities often in the American male in our culture, but he had it. When our paths crossed, it didn't matter if you were in a group like this or just by himself, you could have an intimate conversation with him about something that was really meaningful. I always have a hard time at the cocktail party, meaningless conversation about whatever, but with him, after we talked, I really felt, first of all, I felt heard. He was a very good listener. But boy, whatever the subject was, he had an intellect that was very, very high, and I truly love that about him. I think most of you are probably not from the Ozarks. I wish we had the time that everybody could tell your story about how you got here and the influence that Jay had on you. We could be here for a long time. But I'll just finish saying what so many people have said. When a man passes away, a reflection of his life is the friends that he has made and the influence that he's had on people. And when you look around the circle and the number of people here and where he came from, I know one man, his wife came from Ann Arbor. So that's a tribute to him as a human being. Thank you all for coming.
Not really sure when I met Jay the first time. It was most likely when it was one of the one group meetings we had way back when, like in the early 2010s, 2012 time frame, somewhere in there. But I didn't really connect with him strongly until 2019. And in 2019, I had an epiphany in my life spiritually, and I gave a presentation to the one group, and Jay was there. And we really connected from that point onward, and not only at an intellectual level, a very deep level, but also from a spiritual level. And from that point on, I was really close with Jay, and I came out here and visited with him several times and shared books with him. And it was just a very, very powerful relationship that I had with Jay, and I'm going to miss him.
We're family. We don't call him Jay. We call him Alan. And so all I know of Alan is through a family. This is his brother, and this is impressive to me. This group of people. I don't even know what words to use, but yes, the friends that someone has made really do reflect the impact of someone's life. And we didn't share much of that, but, just, this is a great group of people.
So I've known Jay long enough to call him Alan. That's what I do. And he's a good brother.
Well, Jay was a good friend, great to hang around with, and he would gladly share and invite in his happiness that he grew. And he was a big part of the Ozark Neighborly Exchange, and especially with our adventures with the sorghum that we had, and I'm gonna miss him.
I met Jay, my husband reminded me that I met Jay when he came to Bessie's B&B in Dora and sold garlic to her. And I went to Bessie's B&B and she gave me some garlic to plant. And yesterday I had to pull that, it's called Kettle River, that's what Jay called it. We don't know, I'll never know where he got that name from, but anyways. I had to pull it yesterday because it was ready. I was so shocked. I've never pulled it that early. But as I was pulling it all, I went, this is fitting to pull it the day before of this. So I didn't have a great crop. I have a small garden. But I did bring some of Jay's garlic. So I have some to share. And maybe if Amelia and Eric are growing it this year, they'll have some to sell too. He's saying yes. So anyways, I agree with everything y'all have said about Jay, and I'm so glad that, I'm so sad that he's not here to enjoy this birthday party, but anyways.
I haven't known Jay in this lifetime, in this mind for very long, but I feel like I also kind of have, you know. One of the main things I noticed in the conversations I've had with him is he just treated me like a friend pretty much from the moment he met me. That's really special. Thanks, Jay, and happy birthday.
I didn't know Jay in the flesh, but I can tell you he's here. Absolutely here. And I haven't seen a memorial like this ever. With this type of energy and these type of people. I haven't seen this type of community. That's why I came here. But ever since Des told me about Jay, he's been with me. And ever since I got here, even before I got here, I could feel his presence. And all the things that have been said about him, I hope half of those things could be said about me or anybody in here. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, so we have, I don't know if we want to do it now. Does everybody need a break? Or do we have 3 songs we were going to sing?